You probably heard the saying, a dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. But have you ever really stopped to think about what that means? Well, it's not just a saying. It's one of the most powerful concepts in all of finance. And in this explainer, we're going to break it down, using some great examples from the CFA program curriculum so you can make it work for you. So why is it? It's not a trick question. The answer is the key to pretty much everything in finance: saving, borrowing, investing. Understanding this is like getting a financial superpower. It's the invisible force that shapes your decisions, and once you get it, you can really start to take control. All right, so to really get our heads around this, we need to stop thinking about an interest rate as just some number on a screen. The curriculum actually encourages us to look at it in 3 totally different ways, and when you do, it changes everything. So check this out. An interest rate is 1. Your required rate of return. That's the absolute minimum you're willing to accept to put your money into something. 2. It's the discount rate, a tool we use to figure out what money in the future is actually worth to us right now. And maybe most importantly, it's the opportunity cost. That's the potential growth you give up every single time you decide to spend a dollar instead of investing it.
Okay, now for the really cool part. Let's talk about the engine that truly drives wealth over a long period of time. This is where your money really starts to work for you. It's called compounding.
The difference here is absolutely huge. With simple interest, you only ever earn interest on your original investment. So you put in $100, you get $5 this year, $5 next year, it's fine. But with compound interest, it's a whole different game. In year 2, you're not just earning interest on your original $100. You're also earning interest on the $5 you made last year. It's interest on your interest.
And I know what you're thinking when you look at this. 25 cents? Who cares, right? But that tiny little sliver, that's the start of a snowball. At first, it's tiny, but as it rolls downhill over decades, that interest on interest grows and grows until it becomes the most powerful part of your investment. You want a really cool shortcut to see how powerful this is? Check out the Rule of 72. It's a handy trick from the curriculum for estimating how long it takes your money to double. You just divide 72 by the interest rate. So at a 7% return, it'll take you just over 10 years to double your cash. Super simple, but so powerful for seeing the path ahead.
All right, so we get compounding. Now let's use that concept to actually peek into the future. The first tool we have for this is called Future Value, or FV. It's basically a formula that lets us project exactly what an investment could be worth down the road. Let's use a real example from the source material to see this in action. Okay, let's pretend you just got a huge windfall, $5 million. You stick it in a 5-year CD that pays 7% a year. So the big question is, what's waiting for you when those 5 years are up? We can just map it out like this. Today, at time 0, we've got our present value of $5 million. Then for 5 straight years, it just sits there and compounds. It earns 7%, not just on the original $5 million, but on the growing total each and every year. So what does that end up looking like? Over $7 million. Think about that. That's more than $2 million in pure profit, earned just by letting your money sit and do the work for you. That right there is the power of compounding in black and white. So, future value is awesome for looking ahead. But what if we need to do the opposite? What if we know we're getting money in the future and we want to know what it's worth today? For that, we use our second tool, present value. It's basically a financial time machine. Here's a classic problem that businesses have to solve all the time. An insurance company knows it owes somebody $100,000 in 6 years. They don't need all that money sitting around today, right? So how much do they actually need to set aside right now? The secret sauce here is a process called discounting. Think of it like letting the air out of a balloon. That future $100,000 is inflated with 6 years of potential earnings. Discounting is how we let all that air out to see what its real solid value is today. And there you have it, just over $63,000. This is so cool because it shows the idea of equivalence. To that insurer, having 63 grand today is exactly the same as having 100 grand in 6 years, because they know they can turn the first number into the second. Okay, so we've got future value for looking forward and present value for looking back. Now let's put it all together to solve a big, messy, real-life problem, planning for retirement. And we're going to use a fantastic case study from the curriculum to do it. So, meet Jill. She starts saving early, which is smart, but she's not saving a ton. Then later, during her peak earning years, she knows she needs to ramp it up, but by how much? Her goal is super clear. She wants to be able to withdraw $100,000 a year for 20 years in retirement. This looks complicated, but our tools make it totally solvable.
We just break it down into 3 simple steps. First, we use future value to see how big that early savings snowball gets by the time she's ready to retire. Second, we use present value to figure out exactly how big her total nest egg needs to be on day 1 of a retirement. And third, we just find the difference. That's the gap she needs to fill.
And there's the answer. After you run the numbers, Jill needs to save just over $8,300 a year during that second part of her career. See how we did that? We took this huge, lifelong, kind of scary problem and broke it down into a clear, manageable target.
And this just perfectly hammers home the core idea from the curriculum. A lump sum of money, a series of payments, what they call an annuity, and a big future goal. They can all be equivalent. They're just different ways of looking at the same value at different points in time. It's all connected.
So what's the bottom line? Money has time value because every dollar you have has potential. Compounding is the superpower that unleashes that potential. And with tools like future and present value, you can actually map out and plan for your biggest financial goals. This is what puts you in the driver's seat.
Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Look, these concepts aren't just for textbooks. They're the actual building blocks for a solid financial life. So start thinking about it. Now that you know the rules of the game, what's the first goal you're going to start planning for?